Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cougar Sports Network as we get ready to kick off another NAC action game here in River Forest between the visiting Green Knights of St. Norbert and your Concordia University Chicago Cougars. I'm Kayla McLeod. I'll be on the call with you today, joined by Dave Dimling on color, but these two teams both looking to get things going a little bit. The Green Knights, coming off of a win over Greenville on March 11th, but Cougars looking for their first win since March 2nd. So Cougars on a little bit of a hunt here. Green Knights coming in kind of hot. So Dave, what are we looking at for these two teams as they both look to pull the win today?
You know, I think they're both just kind of got to compete, do whatever they can to kind of play team collective volleyball. I think that's kind of one of the things that both teams have been struggling a little bit with, where they've shown glimpses overall, but it's all about putting it together and being the collective unit.
Absolutely. The Cougars in their last game against the nationally ranked Aurora University Spartans, a fellow NAC mate. So the Cougars coming off of a loss there, but it was a hard-fought loss. It was a relatively well-paced game. The Cougars fell in set one, 21-25, against, like I said, the nationally ranked Spartans. So, you know, some good glimpses here as the Cougars looking to kind of get things going here. A key arm back on the court for the Cougars today in Marcin Hoffman, who did not play on the game against Aurora. So getting back into their usual rhythm here as the Cougars look to get things going.
Yeah, Hoffman's going to be a big piece for this Concordia team overall. He's been a huge piece in the front line overall.
Absolutely. And for the Green Knights, you know, they've got a highly talented squad, a lot of veterans on this team, but also a lot of younger guys. So the Cougars, historically throughout this season, we've been telling the story that they're a young team, that, you know, majority of the CUC squad is freshmen and sophomores. But you look at this Green Knight squad, and they also have a relatively young squad. They've got a little bit more of seniority, but Leon Godzowski doesn't care either way. Gets things rolling for the Cougars.
Yeah, a little aboriginal, I guess, on that one, but finds a way to get the point there.
So Leon Godzowski getting things going early on here for CUC. And that's going to bring number 4, Michael Cardenas, up to serve for Tristan Kamenar. But Green Knights answering back relatively quickly with a point of their own.
Yeah, for them to break out a play like that this early, they must have seen that one on film a while ago.
Serving now for the Green Knights, number 6, Cade Nelson, the junior out of Wisconsin, as this one is up, received by Gato. Mosher over to Godzowski, who finds that back line once again. Godzowski back-to-back kills on his attempts and now set to serve for the Cougars. As the Green Knights take that point. That's going to bring up number 20, Michael Whitney, to serve, as that one is received by Cardenas. Alexander Ford finds space in the back row to send one down and take the lead once again. Yeah,
beautiful assist right there from Mosher. You can count on him doing that all day long. He's third in the NAC in assists. He's out there for a reason.
Absolutely. Hollaback serving this one. And a little bit of miscommunication on that swing. Ended up being punched over by Kornhaus, but kept alive here. Swing here from Kornhaus. Was kept alive by Gator on a diving attempt. Back here, a block at the net, but Green Knights keeping alive with that rally. Cougars settling it down a little bit, and a little bit of a skip set attack there from Eli Mosher to steal the point.
Yeah, Mosher just kind of says, anything you can do, I can do better. Finding a way to earn themselves a point right there.
Absolutely. So Hollaback back to serve once again. Whitney with the set. A little bit of a miscommunication, but the Cougars at the net, rejecting it. Back and forth at the net, but at the end of the day, Hoffman able to get his hand on that ball and find some space.
Yeah, at this point so far, is 7 points into this match, it kind of just looks like whoever's able to capitalize on the mistakes made by the opponent.
As that one is sent straight down by Barry Applewhite. And the first substitution of today for the Green Knights as number 8, Caden Kornhaus, now serving for the Green Knights. Mosher sets this one. Hollebeck on the opposite with a soft touch, kept alive here. As that one into the net from Bennett Kornhaus. And that's going to bring Tristan Kamenar back into the game for the Cougars as Marcin Hoffman now set to serve. This one set at the net. Opposite swing there from Bennett Kornhaus to lay that one down for the point for the Green Knights.
Green Knights will get a couple subs here, one being the server.
Boston Peck now to serve. Sends this one just over the top of the net. The swing from Alexander Ford rejected at the net, but out of bounds, so the point goes to the Cougars, but Cade Nelson was a brick wall at the net, not letting that ball come over.
Yeah, that's a lot of power behind that swing from Ford.
Ford now serving for CUC, sends this one to the back row. Set by Whitney. The opposite swing from Kornhaus finds the back corner. Something that we've noticed within this Cougar squad so far this season is they tend to leave those back corners relatively open, and the quicker that the opponents can find that space and capitalize, the better that they are, and we've seen the Cougars get beat there already. As that swing from Kamenar bounces off the hands of Conway for a CUC point. Mosher now serving for CUC. The swing off the hands of the Cougars at the net, but could not be kept alive. So point back to the Green Knights as this becomes a closer match here, 8-6 in favor of the Cougars. Hance now serving. Rejected at the net. Kept alive here by the Cougars. Kamenar with the soft touch on the opposite. Rejected at the net once again by the Green Knights. Hollebeck with the soft hit. Looking for back corner, but cannot find it. And sends that one just a bit too hard.
Yeah, just trying to be a little bit too perfect there. Just sometimes it's just about keeping the possession alive rather than trying to end it right there.
Some good effort from the Green Knights at the net. Not easy to be able to get up for 2 or 3 consistent plays at the net, but being able to keep that alive. And Cougars now frazzled a little bit as Hollebeck finds the back corner, but on the opposite side of the net. So point for the Green Knights, ties this up at 8 apiece.
Yeah, unfortunately no wraparounds here.
Serving for the Green Knights is Zach Hansey, who puts a little bit too much power on that one. Cardenas now serving for CUC. This one catches the back line, and the first service ace of the game at the hands of Michael Cardenas.
Yeah, what a dot. Pinpoint placement right there. Let's see if he can do it again.
This one kept alive there by Conway. Mosher with the first touch. Gato setting opposite for Hollebeck. A soft touch, not able to be kept alive by Conway. Hollebeck looking like he was gearing up for a big swing, instead finds some space in the middle of the court and able to lay that soft touch down.
Yeah, just beautiful work right there by Hollebeck. Shows you why he's one of the NAC's finest killers.
Absolutely. As this one, a bit too much power at the hands of Cardenas. And that's going to set Cade Nelson up to serve. Hoffman receives this one. Mosher back to Hoffman. Big swing off the hands of Hansey. And sends possession back to the Cougars for Leon Gazowski to serve. This one, a little dump there from Whitney, but Cougars able to keep it alive. Whitney popping this one up. Kornhaus with the monster swing, and the Cougars could not contain it. Trying to reject at the net, but just a little bit too much power off the hands of Caden Kornhaus.
Yeah, relatively back and forth game up to this point. We'll see if anyone decides to take any more leverage the other way.
Absolutely, as Alexander Ford sends that one straight down. This CUC team, as you mentioned, Dave, with this back and forth battle, the Cougars, in a lot of their losses, have been close battles. You know, you're looking at anywhere from 4 to 3 point losses in each set. So not surprising to see this as a back and forth battle between these two comparable teams. St. Norbert 2-5 in the conference so far this season. CUC 1-5, both obviously looking to improve on that. But Cougars taking a swing there, and they're going to get Applewhite in the net on that to extend the CUC lead a bit further. Hoffman now serving for the Cougars. This one rejected at the net, kept alive here. A monster swing there from Bennett Kornhaus. Boston Peck now serving for the Green Knights. Received by Gato. The set from Mosher over to Kamenar, and that one is good off the hands of the Green Knights.
Just a beautiful swing over there by one in maroon. Getting that lead back up to 3.
Ford with the serve, kept alive here. The swing from Kornhaus off the hands of Hoffman, but nobody else able to get a piece of it for the Cougars, so that's going to send things back to the Green Knights for Kornhaus to be able to serve. Mosher over to Kamenar with a soft touch. The diving attempt from Kornhaus is no good. That's going to find some space on the floor. And the Cougars extending back out to a 3-point lead. This one popped up at the net. A little back and forth battle between Whitney and Gazowski. And ultimately, Gazowski couldn't get control of it, and that ball was going to drop on the CUC side.
Yeah, Gazowski can only win so many matches at the net. He's due to win a couple more, though, today.
Absolutely. Leon Gazowski, a tough force at the net for the Cougars this season. Leading the way with 7 total blocks. But a 1-point game here now in favor of the Cougars, as this one kept alive by Hollebeck. The back row swing from Hoffman kept alive there by Conway. The rejection at the net from Gazowski and Kamenar. Dave, you mentioned it, that Gazowski's due for a few at the net, and spoken into existence as there was his first block of the day.
No doubt. I mean, he's just such a force to be reckoned with when you get him close to the net like that.
Cougars lead the way 17-15. The swing here from Kornhaus with some monster force behind it.
I mean, both teams, when they get up to the net, they're just putting up monster swings on these balls, just undefended on a lot of them.
Absolutely. That's going to set Cade Nelson to serve now for the Green Knights. As a bit too much force on that one is going to send things right back to the Cougars. Something that we've talked about this season on the Cougar Sports Network for CUC men's volleyball is not only their intensity that they're playing with, but their accuracy. We've seen some of these freshmen and younger guys struggle to find that consistency and that accuracy. So being able to hone it in and being able to pinpoint where to put that ball so early here in this game has been really promising to see from this Cougar squad.
Of course, yeah. I mean, they're just going to continue to grow in that young class, but when you have a little bit more experience on the court as well, they're not typically used to that as you've seen in years past. This year they kind of have a little bit more expertise with guys like Hollaback and Mosher, but you see Hollaback right there making a big play. So I'm excited to see how this team finishes up in conference play.
Absolutely, and as the season goes on, this team becomes more and more experienced with every game, and being able to learn from guys like Hollaback, who is leading the way on this squad, has been super instrumental, as that one is going to be tipped off the Cougars and send things over to the Green Knights. Caden Kornhaus now set to serve for the Green Knights. This one off the hands of Hoffman, kept alive by Cardenas, but Cougars unable to pop that one back over the net. Really good effort there from Michael Cardenas.
And just like that, it's all knotted up at 19. They're going to play a match to 6. This set, excuse me.
That one off the hands of Hoffman again. Hollaback with a back row swing with power, bouncing off of the basketball hoop and finding its way to the floor. Marcin Hoffman now serving for this Cougar squad. Received by Kornhaus. The monster swing from Applewhite. That ball went straight down to the 10-foot line.
Yeah, when Applewhite gets an opportunity, he has not been missing it in this set. Thankfully for the Cougars, he's now in the back row, so that might save him a little bit of trouble for these last 5 points.
Absolutely. Barry Applewhite serving for the Green Knights here as he serves a service ace, but as I was going to say, a very powerful force on this Green Knight squad, leading the team in attack percentage with a 338, but his intensity is going to take the lead from the Cougars and force a CUC timeout. So while these two teams take a break, we're going to take a quick one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, Green Knights officially stealing the lead in set one. They lead the Cougars 21-20. Barry Applewhite serving. Sends that one with just a bit too much power to tie things back up at 21 apiece.
Productive timeout right there from Coach Manos of the Cougs. I mean, if you're able to steal a point like that deep in the set, that's all you can ask for out of a timeout.
Absolutely, as Alexander Ford now serving, sends that one down. And Eli Mosher getting some action up at the net, seeing that ball coming over quickly and takes his opportunity to send it straight back down.
Yeah, that's a big 2 points in a row right there, just completely flipping the momentum. Absolutely. Ford sending this one into the net.
Not what you're looking for in a close match like this. That's going to bring Bennett Cornhouse now to serve for the Green Knights.
Whole lot of 22s out there.
As Hoffman keeping that one alive. The back row tip from Hollebeck. Cornhouse, the hit from Whitney. Mosher over to Kamenar. The big swing off of Caden Cornhouse, and CUC securing that point. Mosher now serving for the Cougars. Drops this one in, received by Conway. The monster swing from Knezevich is bounced off of Hoffman and ties things back up at 23 apiece.
Yeah, nail biter in this set all the way to the end, 23-23.
Hansey now serving for the Green Knights. Just a bit too much power. A tale of errors here early on as this final stretch has kind of come down to some of these service errors. Both teams with 3 so far on the day. In a tight game like this, not something that you want to see, and that's going to force a timeout from the Green Knights. Head coach B.J. Bryant in his 5th season taking that one as the Cougars are just 1 point away from taking set 1.
Yeah, it could be an opportunity right now for the Cougs. Based on the way both teams have been playing, it's honestly at this point it's just about limiting your mistakes. You don't always have to have that big swing and end the point right there. Just kind of force the rally to continue, force the other team to make a mistake.
Absolutely, and realistically, both of these teams are hitting well in set 1. The Cougars 17 kills, the Green Knights 15 kills, but it's kind of coming down to some of those other things. Those service errors is a huge one, as Green Knights obviously just having one that gave the Cougars their 24th point, but let's not forget that the Cougars also had one within these last few points as Alexander Ford put one into the net. So being able to get some of those fundamentals down and make each team earn their points is going to be key as we get to this final stretch of this set.
Of course, of course.
Coming out of the timeout, it's going to be Michael Cardenas to serve for the Cougars. Serving for set point here. As this one finds the back row. The swing there from Nelson knocks this thing up at 24 apiece. And head coach B.J. Bryant going to take another time out for the Green Knights. While these two teams take a quick break as we get down to it near the end of the first set, we're going to take a quick one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, Green Knights serving as we are tied up at 24 apiece. Hollebeck with the short dump. A great kept alive ball there from Hansey. Kudzowski doesn't care and finds space in the back row to take the 1 point lead.
Just like that, advantage Cougs. Gudzowski with the chance to send him home on this set.
Cougars looking for 1 point here as Gudzowski set to serve. Drops this one right into the back row, and the Cougars are going to take the set 1 win after Hansey could not decide if that was in or out, but ultimately dropping right on that back line, and the Cougs taking set 1.
Yeah, what an interesting way to end that set. A little caught off guard, a little lack of communication right there, but Cougs will take that one every day.
Absolutely. So a close battle here between these two NAC teams as CUC goes up 1-0, but we're going to take a quick break while these two teams get set for set number 2 here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network for set number 2 of today's NAC matchup. Cougars taking set 1 in extra points, but Green Knights taking the first point of set 2. I'm Kayla McLeod here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Dave Daimling as Cade Nelson gets set to serve for the Green Knights. That one just missing out of bounds. Marcin Hoffman thought about putting his hands on it, but pulled back at the last minute for a good reason.
Yeah, smart play right there. Got very close, but close only counts with horseshoes and grenades, so I get the point there.
Guzowski serving that one up. The swing here from Kornhaus finds space, and the Green Knights taking another point here in set number 2. St. Patrick's Day weekend here in the city of Chicago. As you know, Dave, makes for a very festive weekend. So not only playing the Green Knights, bringing a lot of green into Geisman Gymnasium, but Cougar fans also wearing green today for the festivities.
Of course. It's a holiday like none other, I suppose you could say, with dying Lake Michigan and just kind of doing whatever it takes to have a little bit of fun around here.
Absolutely. So very high spirits in Geisman as Hallebeck serving that one up. The swing from Kornhaus off the hands of Gato. And the Green Knights going up 3-2 here. This one, once again, Hoffman almost going for it and pulling back at the last second.
Yeah, Hoffman and Ford having a little bit of a chuckle. I think Ford might have told him it was in, but the spidey senses of Hoffman just kind of saved him right there.
Absolutely. A great way to put it for those natural abilities of Hoffman, being able to kind of read that at the last moment. But Cardenas with the swing here, almost rejected at the net, but instead drops down on the Green Knight side of the floor. Hoffman serving once again for the Cougars. As this one hit into the net for a tie game here now, as Applewhite set to serve for the Green Knights. Applewhite one ace so far on the day, as Mosher sets this one up for Ford. Applewhite keeping it alive, sending it right back over the net, but Alexander Ford wastes no time in sending that one right back to the Green Knights and finds the open space in the back row.
Yeah, that's not the guy you want to accidentally send it right back over to for a free ball. He'll take advantage of it every time.
Alexander Ford now serving for the Cougars. That one received by Conway. The monster swing there from Knezevich is going to tie this back up at 5 apiece. If we didn't already know it from set number 1, I think it's very clear in these first 10 points scored that this is going to be a close battle all day today.
Definitely. Two very similar teams overall. Just it's a little bit of a mistake right there by Hallebeck, but two very similar teams overall. We'll see how this match continues as we move on throughout the day.
So the Green Knights taking the 6-5 lead here. Hallebeck receiving. Mosher over to Guzowski. Kept alive there. A monster swing from Kornhaus, but the Cougars able to keep it alive. The opposite soft touch there from Knezevich is going to find the space on the floor.
Yeah, that whole point was just a little bit chaotic on the CUC side of the net. Only fitting that they would unfortunately not come up with that point.
Absolutely. The Green Knights seemingly finding a way to settle in a little bit. As you mentioned, the Cougars a little bit chaos right now. But the Green Knights settling as that back row touch from Kornhaus is going to find some space.
Yeah, what an attack right there.
Bennett Kornhaus serving for the Green Knights. Hoffman receiving. Mosher over to Kamenar. Rejected at the net by Michael Whitney. And Coach Greg Manos is unhappy with the Cougars as the Green Knights extend to a 9-5 lead here in set number 2.
Yeah, 5-0 scoring run right there for the Green Knights. That's going to be enough for Coach Manos to call a timeout, give his players a second to kind of recollect, recover overall, just give them an opportunity to just fix their minds a little bit. Sometimes your mind's racing when you're in that kind of situation, just getting attacked overall, but we'll see how productive the timeout was.
Absolutely, and this CUC squad, we've mentioned many times already on today's broadcast the difference in a younger team and a more experienced team, and sometimes some of those intangible things such as the Green Knights getting a little bit of comfortability and being able to kind of settle in on a bit of a 5-0 scoring run, sometimes in that younger mindset is just frazzling. So being able to take a timeout, reset, regroup, and realize that, you know, this is a game of momentum, this is a game of runs, and being able to kind of resettle and put a stop to those runs and then steal that momentum back. It's a really great use of a timeout here from Coach Manos.
Definitely, especially when you're a young team, the last thing you want to have to deal with is a team on the other side of the net that's in a groove, that's got the momentum, and they're smooth, collective overall. That's going to be a tough team to beat, so probably a good use of the timeout right there. Make it so at least your team has got a chance to find some momentum.
Absolutely, and Gato receiving that one. The hit from Gudzowski received by Conway. The opposite hit from Kornhaus, no good. And the Cougars are going to take the first point out of the timeout and break the 5-0 scoring run from the Green Knights. Eli Mosher serving for the Cougars. Back row reception from Conway, tipped over by Whitney. Kamenar now with the soft tip, kept alive by Kornhaus. The swing from Whitney, popped up by Hollebeck. Gato, Kamenar now with the swing, rejected at the net, but they're going to say that it was not blocked by the Green Knights, but instead off of the Cougar side of the net. So great effort from the Green Knights at the net regardless, but
yeah, not seeing any complaints from the CUC side, so they must have known that they had a little bit of a mistake there. But Gudzowski gets the point right back anyways, so not too big of a deal.
Absolutely, as Michael Cardenas now in to serve for the Cougars. Bit of a substitution mix-up, as the Cougars thought that they were being motioned in for subs, but Green Knights making a substitution as well. So now Michael Cardenas is set to serve for the Cougars. As Kornhaus receives this one, Whitney over to Kornhaus. Rejected at the net by Leon Gudzowski.
Just an absolute brick wall right there. There was no chance of getting through that one.
Cougars really looking to build off of the momentum from their strong force at the net. As that one goes into the net from Cardenas. Cade Nelson now serving for the Green Knights. Received by Gato. Mosher to Gudzowski. Kept alive there by Hansey. A rejection at the net again, but the Green Knights keeping it alive now. A free ball over for the Cougars. Mosher over to Hollebeck at the opposite, and that's going to go off the hands of the Green Knights. CUC making their comeback.
Yeah, they're definitely just lurking in that rear view mirror right now, just trying to catch up, find a way to get them within a point, within a tie ball game, but we'll see what they do here.
Gudzowski serving for CUC, serves that one into the net for a free point for the Green Knights. Whitney now to serve for the Green Knights. Green Knights on top of the Cougars, 12-9 here. Gato diving for that one, kept alive by Hollebeck off of the basketball hoop, and trying to keep it alive was Cardenas, but A little bit too far off court, could not get enough distance to it.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to go for, but a lot of power. There was definitely not a lack of power, as he might have dented the vent, actually. That was a lot of juice on that one, but.
As that one tips over, kept alive by Mosher. Rejected at the net by the Green Knights. Hollaback trying to keep it alive, but a great read from Eli Mosher to see that one just barely tipping over the net and getting a hand on it to give the Cougars a chance to keep that ball in play.
And as soon as you thought the Cougars were back in it, Green Knights pull away, and they're up 5 now.
A power shot there from Whitney, sending Tyler Hollaback to serve for the Cougars. Kornhaus receiving this one. Whitney over to Kornhaus, who finds space and lays that one down for a quick kill. The duo of Bennett Kornhaus and Caden Kornhaus has been really lethal for this Green Knight squad today on both sides of the ball. As a soft touch from Hollaback is going to find space. A diving Conway could not get there in time. And that's going to send Marcin Hoffman to serve for the Cougars. That one into the net for the Cougars' 7th service error of the game.
Yeah, those service errors can really be the detriment right there. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on that one as we continue through this match. But at least as a viewer, I mean, it's equal on both sides. So it's not costing either team detrimentally yet, but it's just something that you know you can control.
Absolutely. As the swing here kept alive by Hollaback. A great diving attempt from Peck, but a block at the net from Nelson is going to force a CUC timeout as Coach Greg Manos unhappy with that back and forth battle. So while these two teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, Green Knights currently leading the Cougars 17-11 in set number 2. Now entering the game for the Cougars is number 17, J.R. Stella. Mosher sets forward and finds space in the back row.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of difference that makes adding Stella up there in the front. Big piece overall, but yeah, we haven't seen him yet today, so.
Ford now serving for the Cougars. Drops this one to the back row, Conway. Kornhaus looking to dump it over, but cannot find the space on the floor and just misses wide. Ford still serving for the Cougars. Drops this one in the back row. Whitney, a monster swing there from Nelson. Kept alive by the Cougars. Stella, soft touch over. An opposite side swing from Kornhaus is going to find space in front of Hollowbeck and extend this lead back out for the Green Knights.
Yeah, that's one of those reassuring points right there for the Green Knights. They give up a couple points to the Cougs right there, but able to find it right back into the 5-point lead.
A monster swing from Leon Gudzowski says, hello, we're still here. That's going to put Mosher back to serve for the Cougars. Conway, Whitney, a swing from Kornhaus off the hands of the Cougars, but going out of bounds for a Green Knight point. Cougars a little bit frazzled to start that point. And a rejection at the net from Nelson and Kornhaus. Takes advantage of that little bit of miscommunication from the Cougars.
Yeah, that's a big block right there. I haven't seen a whole lot of blocks, but that right there is definitely pretty flush by the Green Knights.
As J.R. Stella coming in and making his presence known for his first kill of the day. That's going to bring Michael Cardenas in to serve for the Cougars. CUC trailing by 5 here in set 2. A swing from Kornhaus rejected at the net by the Cougars, kept alive. Another swing from Kornhaus rejected at the net yet again, but sent out of bounds. That's going to put Nelson back to serve for the Green Knights.
Yeah, Green Knights looking to wrap up this set and knot it up at 1-1, but Cougars are going to see what they can do in these last few points.
Gudzowski sending that one over to the back row. The swing from Kornhaus. Soft touch kept alive by Hoffman. Hollowbeck finding space in the back corner.
Just a beautiful swing right there by Hollowbeck. Not too often you see that same side attack right there, but works to perfection.
Absolutely. And that's going to put Gudzowski back to serve for the Cougars. A attempt to tip over from Whitney is rejected by the Cougars.
Yeah, the Cougars have been sitting on that one for a little bit now. Not getting fooled by that one again tonight.
Absolutely. And Gudzowski set to serve once again. Drops this one in. Poked over by Whitney. Cougars looking to settle it. Hollowbeck with the swing. Conway getting underneath it at the net. Hoffman gets a hand on it, but the rejection at the net from the Green Knights leaves the Cougars frazzled. And Whitney now serving for the Green Knights. St. Norbert leading 22-17 here in set number 2. As that one into the net for a free point for CUC.
Yeah, just another one of those mistakes right there, one of those service errors. We'll see if it comes back to haunt them at all.
Hollowbeck now serving. Conway, Whitney, Kornhaus. Hollowbeck keeping it alive. A little bit of an off-balance swing from Ford. The swing there from Applewhite kept alive by the Cougars. Hoffman now looking for room in the back row, but a little bit too much power. And the Green Knights now sitting with 23. Kornhaus now serving for the Green Knights. Cardenas, Mosher, Ford. And too much power on that one brings the Green Knights within 1 point of tying this match up.
Yeah, the Cougs are going to have to go on a little bit of a run. Maybe need a little bit of luck if they want to find a way to win this set.
Hoffman, Mosher, back to Hoffman. Rejected at the net, kept alive by Cardenas. Mosher back to Hoffman. Finding some space. Conway now to set. The swing for the Green Knights kept alive by Gato. A back row touch from Hollowbeck. Green Knights settling things down. Kornhaus with the monster swing. And they're going to call Hoffman in the net. And the Green Knights are going to tie this up at 1 set apiece after taking set number 2, 25-18. So these two teams going to take a 3-minute break to reset and switch sides. So we're going to do that as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network as we get ready for set number 3 of today's NAC matchup between the visiting Green Knights of St. Norbert and the home CUC Cougars. I'm Caleb McLeod, joined by Dave Deimling. We are all tied up here after the Green Knights took set number 2, Cougars winning set number 1. So realistically, anybody's game as we get set here, and Stella securing the first point for the Cougars.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how both teams respond now. St. Norbert got a little bit of momentum after that second set, and Cougars are going to have to deal with some adversity after losing it, so we'll see what can go on right now. Cougars get off to a good start with Stella picking up that point.
And a serve there from Cardenas, received well by the Green Knights. The hit from Kornhaus. Gato with the set, Hallebeck with the soft touch. Poked alive, Kornhaus another swing. Looked like it might have been going out of bounds, but Mosher diving for it anyway. And that's going to tie things up at 1 apiece for Whitney to serve now. Gato receiving in the back row. Mosher back for Hallebeck. Hallebeck cross-court attack. A tough first touch from the Green Knights, but able to keep it alive. And Gudzowski sending that one a little bit too strong out of bounds.
Yeah, Whitney will continue to serve here for the Green Knights. Good opportunity for the Green Knights to see if they can extend that lead a little bit more early in this set.
Cardenas receives that one. Hoffman with the swing. Kept alive by Cardenas after a rejection at the net. A free ball over from Hollaback. Green Knights settling things a little bit. The swing from Kornhaus finds space on the Cougar side of the floor. Looking at the breakdown of the statistics from the first 2 sets of the game, obviously the Green Knights winning set number 2, but actually swinging with a lower percentage than in set 1. Green Knights finding the back row on that one for a service ace, but attack percentage from the Green Knights in set number 2, 321 compared to their 538 in set 1. The difference being that the Cougars only swung a 118 in set number 2, so the Cougars struggled a lot on their offensive side in set 2, and that's what gave the Green Knights the opportunity to kind of advance. And Hoffman now finding space there, but kept alive. A soft touch. Gato with a diving pancake. Green Knights thought that hit floor, and they're now going to say that it did hit the floor.
Yeah, you know we're starting to get deeper into the match when both teams start losing their minds on any call. So this is what you love the most about this volleyball matches.
A bit of a wild back and forth battle there, but the Green Knights extending out. A hard hit ball there from Hansey, but unable to get over the net, so the Cougars gonna put their second point up on the board.
Cougars are finally able to end that 5-0 run by St. Norbert. We'll see if they can go on a little run of themselves.
Popped up from Whitney. A swing from Kornhaus, rejected the net, but kept alive by Ford. The swing from Hollaback finds space in the back row. Cougars starting to settle in a little bit here in set 3. A much needed burst of energy from this Cougar squad. As Gudzowski serves this one up. Whitney over to Kornhaus, finds that one out of bounds. And Cougars bring this within 1 point. Whitney setting Kornhaus on the opposite side. Hollaback with the swing, sends that one straight down off the hands of Conway, but Tyler Hollaback swinging with some authority.
Yeah, Hollaback's having himself a day so far. Not elite in the hit percentage, but in the kills, most definitely.
And Gudzowski sends that one into the net for a free point for the Green Knights. And that's going to put Caden Kornhaus back to serve. That one with a bit too much power. Cardenas thought about going for it, but pulled back at the last moment.
Yeah, just adding to those serving woes for both teams so far.
Hollaback sending that one to the back row. Kornhaus looking to find some space on this near side sideline, and Gato on his knees thought about going for it, but once again pulled back. So this Cougar squad multiple times throughout this match been really close to attacking a ball, but made a really good judgment call. As that one's rejected at the net by the Cougars. Kept alive here by the Green Knights, and a free ball over does not quite make it over from Ryan Conway. Hollaback now serving as the Cougars have taken the lead 8-6. A soft touch there from Knezevich is going to find space. And that's going to bring in Boston Peck to serve for the Green Knights.
That southpaw serving specialist looking to get things going here for St. Norbert, trying to knot it up.
Cardenas receives this one, and a skip set there from Mosher. Kornhaus to swing. Cardenas sets up Hoffman. And they're going to call, I believe, Nelson in the net. So a free point for the Cougars. As Hoffman now set to serve for the Cougars. With quite a bit of power on that one, sending it past the far line judge for a free point for the Green Knights.
Yeah, just a little bit of an errant serve right there. I believe that's Hoffman's third service error today.
Stella with the soft touch on this, off the hands of the Green Knights, changing direction. Bennett Kornhaus was diving for that ball that most likely would have initially gotten a piece of, but at the net, the Green Knights trying to make that block and just change the direction of that ball a little bit. As Ford serves this one, received by Conway, and the straight down swing from Cade Nelson that the Cougars have no answer to.
I mean, that's incredible. The athletic ability to just get up above the net that high just to serve it or spike it right back down.
The swing there from Gudzowski finds space. And the Cougars get their point right back. Mosher now serving for the Cougars.
And neither team able to truly find an edge yet, just back and forth. So we'll see how long that continues.
The swing from Kornhaus kept alive by Gato. Stella taking a step back for his soft swing. The swing there from Nelson. Mosher, back row swing from Hoffman. Whitney over to Kornhaus. Rejected at the net by the Cougars, but sent out of bounds for a Green Knight point to make this a 1-point match now. Cade Nelson now serving for St. Norbert. Hoffman, Mosher, Hollaback with a soft touch. And after two quick touches by the Green Knights, they were unable to send that free ball over and give CUC another point, and Cardenas now coming in to serve.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like they can truly figure out Hollaback and his kind of swing mechanics overall. They're just caught guessing a lot of the time so far.
Cardenas sends this one to the back row. Kornhaus with the monster swing, and Cardenas is able to keep that alive, settling it. Hoffman with the swing now. A monster shove at the net from Leon Gudzowski.
Yeah, the Cougars fell for that little dunk from the setter once in the first set, but ever since then, they've kind of been locked down on that.
Absolutely, and being able to see that has been instrumental for the CUC squad, as Gudzowski getting his multiple blocks of the day, and another one at the net from Leon Gudzowski and Marcin Hoffman. The Cougars are hot at the net.
Yeah, you got to assume potentially a St. Norbert timeout could be on the way shortly, depending how long the Concordia can continue this run.
At the net, a little back and forth battle, but kept alive by the Green Knights. Kornhaus with the swing. Mosher setting up Gudzowski, rejected at the net. Off a double touch there from Cardenas. Almost kept that alive, but the 3-0 scoring run from the Cougars broken up there, and that's going to put Michael Whitney back to serve for St. Norbert. Mosher, Gudzowski sends that one straight down the 10-foot line. A quick response from the Cougars.
Yeah, it just is looking like the Cougars are starting to play with a little bit more confidence deeper into this set. We'll see if they're able to continue this little run they've been on.
Whitney sets up the far side for Cornhouse, and the Cougars looks to reject the net but sent it out of bounds once again. CUC really struggling at the net to block those far side hits, being able to control. We've seen a lot of success from the middle of the net, being able to block and contain it, but on those far sides, Cougars just really having a hard time directing. As Alexander Ford directs that one straight down.
Yeah, it looked like Ford just kind of threw that one right down. Didn't have it. Norbert didn't have a chance on that one.
Hollebeck looks to drop that one on the near sideline, but just misses. And that's going to bring Peck back in to serve. Cardenas with the reception, sending it over the net, and a soft tip there from Nelson is going to serve up a point for the Green Knights. Peck still serving for the Green Knights. Cougars on top 16-14. Cardenas, Mosher, Hoffman with the swing. Peck able to get a touch on it but cannot contain it, and puts the Cougars up 17-14. And that's going to bring in a new substitution for the Cougars in Ayaz Arif, who's going to serve now for CUC. Conway receives that one. The swing from Cornhouse is going to drop on the back row. And Cornhouse now to serve for the Green Knights. Hollebeck with the swing on that one, and the Cougars take the point. That's going to put Alexander Ford back to serve for CUC. This one received well by the Green Knights. The swing there kept alive for us, got a touch on it, was Ford, but unable to keep it alive, as Knezevich with a monster swing for St. Norbert. Knezevich to serve now. Hoffman, Mosher, Hollebeck with the swing, and that's going to miss just far.
That could be exactly what St. Norbert needs right now. Brings it to within one.
Cougars jumping out to a little bit of a lead early on in this set, but the Green Knights able to come right back after that service ace from Knezevich, ties it up at 18 apiece and forces a CUC timeout.
Yeah, Cougars were starting to get a little bit lazy there. Coach Manos notices that and burns his first time out.
Absolutely. So while these two teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, the Green Knights serving this one up. Gato keeping it alive as Mosher sends a soft one over. Swing from Kornhaus off of Gato. And Green Knights are going to take the 19-18 lead here in set number 3.
And this is when you're starting to feel a little bit of tension, a little bit of nerves. We'll see how each team responds in these last few points.
Swing from Stella. A hand from Nelson was able to make contact, but it sends it in the opposite direction, and the Cougars are able to knot this back up at 19 apiece. But as you mentioned, Dave, being able to really settle in these last few points is going to be key, and being able to kind of control the chaos a little bit and control the controllables is going to be huge.
Yeah, you can practice and you can train all you want, but there's only so much that can really get you ready for these last 5 points of a important set right now. And that's just a lot of experience.
As Kornhaus looks to send that one over, Cougars go up for the block, but they're going to say that that ball did not go off the hands of the Cougars, instead off the net. Call 4 touches on the Green Knights, and the Cougars jump it back ahead at 20-19. Mosher serving for the Cougars. Conway, Whitney, a swing there from Nelson, kept alive by Hoffman. Stella swings at that one, same side. Kornhaus sends that one opposite, and the Cougars are going to take the point. Mosher still serving here for CUC, and that's going to force a Green Knight timeout. So Cougars going on a bit of a 3-0 scoring run, jumping out in these critical moments, and Green Knights unhappy, looking to settle in. But Dave, as we were just saying, being able to kind of control that chaos and settle in these last moments is huge, and so far we're seeing the Cougars really do that.
Definitely. And then on the other side of the net, St. Norbert's kind of unable to kind of flush that mistake from a few points ago. They felt like they got mishandled on that ref call, but I mean, you just have to find a way to put that past you and just kind of move on. They're kind of struggling with that right now, and that's kind of why they had to burn a timeout there.
Absolutely, and being able to take that timeout and kind of resettle and regroup is key, especially in these final moments. And both teams still having one timeout remaining in the set is going to be huge, as we're going to see this continue to be a back-and-forth battle. The Green Knights have played really well out of timeouts historically throughout this match, so them coming out and being able to settle in is going to be a huge factor for them. But on the flip side, the Cougars have been playing well. A 3-0 scoring run has gotten them to be the first to pass this 20-point threshold in set number 3. So Cougars looking to keep that momentum and keep that scoring run is going to be huge for them.
Definitely. We'll see what can come out of this, the rest of this set right here.
Mosher still serving for CUC. Cougars leading 21-19 here in set number 3. As this one is up, received by Conway. The swing from Kornhaus is going to find the hands of Hoffman, but secure the points, and the Green Knights have hit 20 points as well. Nelson now to serve for St. Norbert. Hoffman, Mosher, Godzowski. Settling it here is Whitney. And a bit of a miscommunication and mistiming. It looked like Whitney might have been trying to initially set Kornhaus, but Applewhite also making that jump and reaching a 10th for it. I don't quite know if they knew that where each other was on the floor, and it looked like it just kind of might have frazzled each other a little bit.
Definitely. That's just one of those mistakes that you just cannot afford to give away this deep into the set.
Cardenas serving for a Cougar service ace.
And that's just kind of one of those other situations where now St. Norbert's collectively stacking those mistakes, turning 1 into 2 by not flushing and moving on.
Cougars serving with 23. As that one is in the net for Michael Cardenas. And that's going to hand things over for Michael Whitney now to serve for the Green Knights. CUC taking a timeout here as they are 2 points away from the set victory. But while these two teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network after the CUC timeout. Green Knights serving here, looking to get back into this as the Cougars are now 1 point away from taking set number 3 after Leon Gadzowski taking control.
Yeah, we'll see if 18 in maroon can put them away.
Gadzowski sends this one up. Received here. The swing from Kornhaus. Fine space on the back row. And that's going to put Caden Kornhaus back to serve for the Green Knights. Cougars 1 point away from taking set number 3. Green Knights trailing 24-22, so have a little bit of work to do, but definitely not an impossible feat.
Yeah, the Cougars will have to find a way to win this one on serve receive, it looks like.
As the swing from Ford rejected by Barry Applewhite in a dominating fashion. Kornhaus still serving for the Green Knights. Drops this one, Cardenas. Mosher, Ford finding space. And the Cougars are gonna take set number 3. 25-23, a really dominating performance from the Cougars here in the end of that set to go up 2-1. While these two teams take a quick 3-minute break between sets 3 and sets 4, we're going to take one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network for set number 4. CUC leads the Green Knights 2-1. But the Green Knights scoring first off of a monster swing there. I'm Kayla McLeod, joined by Dave Deimling here on the Cougar Sports Network. A beautiful day in River Forest for this NAC matchup. And that's going to put Cade Nelson back to serve for the Green Knights. Hoffman receiving that one. And an ace for Nelson puts the Green Knights up 2-0. This one off the hands of Hoffman. Cardenas keeping it alive, and Hoffman looking for the free ball, bounces it off of the conference banners inside Geisman.
Yeah, those brand new banners might have robbed him of an opportunity of a bucket right there.
Absolutely. Geisman Gymnasium getting a few facelifts in the last year, including those conference banners, but Hollaback doesn't need the height at all to get that one down in the back corner to put the first point up for the Cougars. Leon Godzowski now set to serve for CUC. This tip from Applewhite is going to find space. Cardenas diving to try to get there, but can't quite get there in time.
St. Norbert coming off on a great start right now in this fourth set. Excuse me. We'll see if they're able to kind of continue that momentum. See what this set entails.
As that one out of bounds for a free point for the Cougars.
Yeah, we can continue to talk about those service errors on both sides of the net. Just kind of been adding up throughout the day. A total of 21 between the two teams.
Cornhouse is going to find space in the back corner on that one. And that's going to put Caden Cornhouse back to serve for the Green Knights. Mosher, Hollaback on the opposite side, off the hands of Conway and into the bleachers. A powerful swing from Tyler Hollaback. And that's going to put Marcin Hoffman back to serve for the Cougars. Conway receives that one, kept alive at the net. Gato getting over there, and a free ball from Hollaback. Whitney now over to Cornhouse, and the Cougars getting a rejection at the net, but once again sending it out of bounds. We mentioned it earlier, Dave, but that far side of the floor is posing to be a problem for the Cougars. Whenever they're trying to go up at the net, they can't seem to contain it very well, sending it just out of bounds.
It's been happening consistently.
As a double hit called against Eli Mosher there. And the Green Knights jumping out to a 7-3 lead here early in set number 4.
Yeah, they're determined to force this to a fifth set.
But Alexander Ford is not, as he sends that one down with some power. And cuts into that Green Knight lead. The freshman for the CUC squad putting in some work, as that one just misses. A little too much power on the serve. Cornhouse now serving for the Green Knights. Hollaback. Mosher, Godzowski rejected at the net by Cade Nelson. A huge block for the Green Knights, jumping out to a 9-4 lead.
Yeah, that'll give you some momentum pretty quickly.
As Godzowski swings at that one. Cougars wanting a touch on it. Head official saying no touch on that one at all. Todd Roth, the head referee for today. Coach Manos looking to the far side, line judge, saying that he thought he called it a touch on that. But nonetheless, Green Knight points.
Yeah, Coach Manos realizes how important it is to stop the bleeding right now. Just find a way, any opportunity.
A hustle play there from Hoffman keeps the ball alive. Stella drops it over on the opposite side. A swing there from Knezevich, has nobody there to touch it. And the Green Knights have all the momentum inside Geisman right now. Cougars taking a timeout here after the Green Knights a 4-0 scoring run to jump out to 11-4. This is similar to what we saw in set number 2 for the Green Knights. They jumped out to a lead, frazzled the Cougars a little bit, and that was the set that they ended up winning.
Yeah, right now it just looks like St. Norbert's just playing with so much more confidence, so much moxie overall. They just feel so comfortable right now playing their game, and it looks like the Cougars are kind of caught off guard, playing on their heels a little bit, and that's kind of why you're seeing such a big jump out in front early in this set.
Absolutely, and again, looking at some of the stats from the last set, the Green Knights only attack percentage only at 114, consistently going down from the start of this game, but 8 attack errors in comparison to the Cougars' 4. And early on here in set number 4, the Green Knights swinging really well. And it's going to be a bit of a difference here to see how the Cougars can combat that, as here in set 4, the Green Knights swinging a 7-14.
Yeah, that's a big difference right there. St. Norbert looking to continue that, of course. And the Cougars are trying to find a way to discontinue the scoring run that St. Norbert's been on and try to match it with one of their own.
Mosher over to Stella. Whitney over to Knezevich, kept alive by Gato. Mosher calling for it. Stella now swinging. Popped up by Whitney. Knezevich once again looking for that back corner, but sends it a little bit too hard. A good look from Knezevich, as that back corner was wide open, but just a little bit too much force sends it just out of bounds. And gives Eli Mosher the opportunity to serve here. Whitney over to Kornhaus, kept alive by Hoffman. Stella with the swing. Conway getting his hands on it. Knezevich now. Fine space at that one. Hollaback and Gudzowski at the net for the block, but drops on the wrong side of the net.
Yeah, Knezevich has just kind of looked like one of those spark plugs for St. Norbert so far into this set.
Hollaback swinging and finding space on that one. Green Knights got some hands on it at the net, but nobody backing them up, so it's going to drop in between players. And that's going to put Michael Cardenas back to serve for the Cougars. Cardenas, 2 service aces on the day. Whitney, a little bit of a weird set on that one, as it almost looked like Nelson wasn't going to be able to get his hands on it, but ultimately did, and kind of potentially caught the Cougars a little bit off guard there.
Yeah, I think St. Norbert's strategy on that one is if we don't know who's hitting it, the Cougars definitely don't know who's hitting it.
And it paid off as they secured the point and go up 13-6 here in set 4. Swing from Hoffman. Whitney getting there. Kornhaus finding space on the far side. A diving Van Gato unable to get there.
Yeah, it just looks like the Green Knights are truly starting to figure out how to operate right now and how to defeat this Cougars defense, as they're up 14-6 in this 4th set.
Nelson serving here for the Green Knights. A off-balance swing there from Gudzowski, but able to find the floor and put Gudzowski back to serve. Green Knights double the score of the Cougars. Looking to come back here. But Cornhouse sends that one straight down. A hard hit from the Green Knights. And the energy in Geisman is in favor of St. Norbert.
Yeah, St. Norbert's crowd has traveled really well, surprisingly.
As one of the furthest, if not the furthest opponent from CUC up in De Pere, Wisconsin, a flood of green inside Geisman in support of the Green Knights. As Hollebeck set to serve. A little back and forth with the net, and keeping it alive is Hoffman. They're gonna say Hoffman had 2 touches. A very chaotic series of events there on both sides of the floor, a little back and forth. And ultimately the Green Knights are gonna be able to pull away with the point.
Yeah, Cougars getting a little frustrated right now as they're doubled in this set. Some of them looking to wear their emotions a little bit on their sleeve. We'll see if they're able to flush it.
Hollebeck's swing a bit too strong, and the Green Knights really pulling away here. 17-8 here in set 4. Cardenas receives this. The swing from forward with authority gets the Cougars going.
I mean, when he gets a hold of it, he truly does. It's an automatic point ender.
Arif back in to serve for the Cougars. Conway, Whitney over to Cornhouse. And that's going to be tipped off by the Cougars. And the Green Knights go up 18-9 in set 4. This is an interesting set to see, as in the previous 3 sets, it has really been a back and forth battle. And even in the set that the Green Knights won, it was not by a super large margin. The Green Knights won set number 2, 25-18. And quickly, the Cougars trying to get themselves back in this, but a really monster lead here of 8 points for the Green Knights.
Yeah, even if the Cougars aren't able to mount this huge comeback in this set, it would be important to find some kind of momentum overall to put them in a good spot for that 5th set. Last thing you want is to feel defeated already when you still got a match to play.
Absolutely. And the quick dump there from Nelson puts another point on the board for the Green Knights. And Cornhouse set to serve here. Hollebeck, Mosher, opposite side for Hoffman. Whitney, Nelson with the swat. Stella on the far side. Cornhouse keeping it alive. Whitney back to the other Cornhouse, and a monster swing. And the Green Knights hit 21st in set 4. And that's going to force a CUC timeout. Cougars trailing by 10. Green Knights 5 points away from sending this to a 5th set. So while these 2 teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network following the timeout. The Green Knights lead 20-10 in set 4. Guzowski with the soft touch. Conway diving, getting a hand on it, but can't quite get control of it. So Cougars really needing to build their way back in on this one, as Cougars 1 set away from victory. Green Knights needing to win this set to stay alive. Nelson sends that one down for a greater chance here, as Green Knights officially 4 points away from taking the set. Knezovic now serving for the Green Knights. A swing from Stella just misses. And the Green Knights up 11-22 here in set number 4. Knezovic serving. Hoffman, Mosher, Guzowski with the soft touch, and that's going to find space as the Cornhouse one Cornhouse making a diving attempt at the ball, the other kicking the ball right into their head. So a little bit of a tough spot there.
Yeah, that was a little bit funky right there, but we'll see what the Cougars can do right now.
Cardenas serves this one up. Received by Cornhouse. A little shove at the net from Whitney is going to find the floor on the Cougars side. Typically, a hard received ball off of a serve does not end well for the team, but the Cougars putting a little back and forth battle at the net, and ultimately the Green Knights able to come out on top in that battle, as Hollebeck with a soft touch there. The swing from Cornhouse. Gato getting a hand on it, and Hollebeck is going to send that to the back corner.
Couple great plays by the Cougars that are going to go unnoticed, unfortunately, when they lose that point. But what a cat-like reflex from Gato right there to even try to keep him in that point.
Absolutely, and the Green Knights now 1 point away from the set 4 victory, and that's going to bring in number 17, John Stubbe, to serve for set point. Hoffman, Mosher, Gato with the free ball. Whitney kept alive there by Gato. A little close call. And a rocket of a swing from Hollebeck. Applewhite had a monster swing, and Gato was able to keep it alive. And the Cougars now trailing 24-13. As Guzowski set to serve. Applewhite with the swing, kept alive by Guzowski. Hollebeck rejected at the net by the Green Knights, but out of bounds, and the Cougars live to see another point.
Yeah, and this is kind of what you're looking for out of the Cougars. Just find a way to get a little bit momentum.
Guzowski serving. Drops this one shallow, but kept alive by the Green Knights. A swing from Cornhouse, and off the hands of the Cougars is going to drop, and the Green Knights are going to force this to a 5th set after taking set number 4 by a monstrous 25-14 score. So these two teams now heading into a 5th set for the first time ever, might I add. These two teams, historically, the Cougars have a 3-0 record all time against the Green Knights. So the Green Knights looking for their first win over the Cougars in program history.
Yeah, you also forgot to add on top of it, in those 3 matches, Cougars have never lost a set. So this is unprecedented situation that we got going on so far, with St. Norbert winning 2 sets today.
Absolutely. An interesting statistic to note there, Dave, because these two teams have been really well balanced so far today. So, you know, historically a monster sweep for the Cougars, and the Green Knights really turning things around here this season as they're looking to get things going. Both programs relatively new, as the Cougars' inaugural season in 2019 and the Green Knights in 2020. So a 5-year program for the Green Knights, a 6-year program for the Cougars, and Green Knights looking to start battling back a little bit here as they've already taken 2 sets against the Cougars. Green Knights also recently joining the NAC within the last few years as well, and making this a tough NAC battle. As we mentioned earlier, the Green Knights sitting at 2-5 in conference compared to the Cougars' 1-5 conference, putting them just a couple slots ahead, as CUC struggling in conference play early on. But as we mentioned, the Cougars' last conference loss came to the nationally ranked Aurora University Spartans, so a tough loss for CUC, but really needing to bounce back and pick up this win, as Cougars on a bit of a skid, a three-loss streak so far, dating back to the beginning of March for the Cougars. But the Green Knights, no stranger as well. They won their last matchup against Greenville. They lost the matchup before that to WLC, won a matchup against Lakeland, but before that they hit a 4-0 loss, or a 4-game losing streak. So these two teams both really familiar with the struggles and the highs and lows of the season, as we're still early here in conference play, but both teams really know that kind of struggle within the NAC.
Of course, yeah, and I think when you take a look at both sides, Coach Bryan of St. Norbert and Coach Manos of CUC, they both realize how important, how crucial winning this last set and winning the match, winning the day overall is for their team and their program, as not only is it a win in the column, but it also puts them a step ahead for the next day and the next day. It's all about stacking those wins at one at a time, and that's kind of what you're looking to do. So we'll see how exciting this last set will be, because the match will be decided after this one.
Absolutely. The Cougars really looking to secure this win, not wanting to give up their first loss to the Green Knights, but the Green Knights have shown that they can go on a run at any point within the match. We've seen them go on some monstrous runs so far here today. And the Cougars have gone on some runs, but not quite as dominant as the Green Knights have. This is the fifth match of the year that has gone to 5 sets for the Cougars. In each of those matches, the Cougars have only won one of those 5-set matches. So really looking to excel here in set 5, as it is a set to 15.
Yeah, the Cougars no stranger to one of these deep matches, but we'll see if they still have the stamina to finish the match.
Green Knights, this is their 5th match that has gone to 5 sets. In those 5-set matches, the Green Knights 2-2. As the Cougars take the first point. The swing from Kornhaus finds space. And that's going to put Nelson up to serve.
Yeah, we'll see what St. Norbert can do here, trying to get it going, find a way to go on a run.
Gato diving to get that one over. The swing from Kornhaus goes straight down. And the Green Knights out to a 2-1 lead here. Nelson now to serve. Gato, Mosher. Ford finds space in the back corner to tie things up at 2 apiece.
And you can tell, not only as a viewer, as a spectator, but both teams right now are finally getting to the point where they are emptying the tank. Whatever energy, whatever emotions they got left, they're going to expel all of that in these final points.
Mosher sets up Ford, and Ford with another monster swing. And the Cougars are going to go up 3-2 here early in set number 5. Coach Bryant of the Green Knights having a discussion here with the near side referee. Unhappy about something in particular.
Could be just something to try and get his team going a little bit, get the juices flowing. Doesn't want to quite burn a timeout, but looks like it worked.
A swing there there from the Green Knights levels this up at 3 apiece, and as you mentioned, not wanting to burn a timeout, but it definitely, whatever the conversation was, gave his team enough time to settle in a little bit.
Of course, the team loves when they know that their coach is willing to fight for them no matter what.
Absolutely, as Hoffman swings with authority on that one, but kept alive by Conway. The swing now from Kornhaus doesn't quite make it over the net, and the Cougars are going to take the points. This back and forth battle that we saw early on in the match is apparent here in set number 5 as the Cougars are up 4-3. Ayaz Arif now in to serve for CUC. A set from Whitney over to Kornhaus. Off the hands of the Cougars. Arif jumping to get a hand on it, but can't quite get there.
Yeah, it looked like he might have just mistimed his jump just a little bit. Unfortunate for the Cougars, but the St. Norbert will take advantage of that every time.
Kornhaus now set to serve. Hoffman receives. Mosher over to Stella. Stella sends that one a bit wide, and that's going to give the Green Knights the 5-4 lead.
Hollaback trying to do his best to keep the young talent calm and collected, but you really want to see, as a Cougar fan, find a way to get him back into the front row.
As that ball off the hands of Gato bounces off the ceiling, changing direction a little bit, so the Cougars unable to get there, and a 6-4 lead for the Green Knights. But as you mentioned, Cougars really needing to settle down, and Hollaback doing his best as a leader to try to regain composure here for this young squad. Mosher sets up Ford. Ford sends that one, but kept alive by the Green Knights, and a free ball from Conway. Hollaback, Mosher, Ford can't quite get that one lifted enough, and Coach Manos is going to take a quick timeout as the Green Knights lead 7-4 in the do-or-die set number 5. While these two teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, set 5 action here as the Green Knights lead 7-4. Mosher over to Stella. Stella with the swing, rejected at the net by the Green Knights. Mosher once again, Hoffman with the back row swing. Off the hands of Conway, bouncing off the basketball hoop, but keeping it alive and unable to get it over the net. A really good attempt from Kornhaus, but just short of the net.
Yeah, that's just one of those situations that you're never prepared for something like that. And it's really hard to kind of practice the ricochets it's going to take off the basketball goal.
Ford serving for the Cougars. Drops this one into the back row. Whitney over to Kornhaus. Ford with it at the net. Applewhite's sending it straight back, and the Cougars able to get a touch on it, but cannot contain. And the Green Knights up 8-5 as we hit the halfway mark of set 5. The two teams going to switch benches, but a lot of game left to play, a lot of momentum on both sides. A game of runs here, but a monster swing from Barry Applewhite, really putting the dagger into that point there.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like when St. Norbert's needed a big push from somebody, they've had a few standout players, Applewhite being one of them, to come up and make a big kill whenever they needed it.
Boston Peck now serving for the Green Knights. Gato, Mosher, Gudzowski kept alive there by Peck. Sent over. Mosher over to Stella. Stella with the dagger for the point, and the Cougars trail 8-6. CUC not willing to back down yet as Eli Mosher now set to serve. This one into the back row. The swing rejected at the net by Stella and Gudzowski. That far side of the floor has been a bit of a problem for them so far today, but when push comes to shove, the Cougars can get it done, and a huge block able to bring them within one. The swing here, rejected once again, kept alive by the Green Knights. Hollebeck with a quick swing, and he finds space into the back of the floor to tie things up at 8 apiece.
And just like that, all the tides have turned right now. Cougars with all the momentum. We'll see what they can do with it now.
As Mosher drops that one into the net. A free point for the Green Knights, but as you mentioned, Dave, momentum has been on the Cougars' side. Bennett Cornhouse serving for the Green Knights. Hoffman, Mosher, Hollebeck sends that one off of Cornhouse for the tying point once again. And that's going to bring Michael Cardenas in to serve for the Cougars.
I mean, it truly just shows you how big of a difference it is when you can afford to have Hollebeck in the front row.
Cardenas serving, sends this one to the back row. Whitney over to Nelson. Nelson looking for space on the far side, and he's able to find it right along the edge. Green Knights up 10-9 here in set number 5. Green Knights officially 5 points away from their first victory over the Cougars. Gato receives this one, kept alive by Mosher, and a monster swing from Tyler Hollebeck. Fire me up!
Just absolutely out of nowhere. When you need him most, Hollebeck steps up and makes another huge play. I mean, he's been the guy all day long, and why would he stop now?
Absolutely, Dave, you said it. Tyler Hollebeck, why would he stop now? All knotted up at 10 apiece. A swing from Cornhouse. Making the almost diving attempt was Mosher. Right into the bleachers. The coaches parted the way to try to give him space, but did not quite have the space to get there. So, Cade Nelson serving for the Green Knights. Gato, Mosher, Hollebeck with the soft touch. Whitney over to Cornhouse. Can't get it over the net, and the Cougars are tied up at 11. Just as we saw this game as a back and forth battle is just how we're gonna see it end here in set number 5. Cornhouse with the swing, Hollebeck under it. Mosher over to Hoffman. Able to secure the kill is Marcin Hoffman. The Cougars back on top.
The man of the hour serving it away. Trying to find a way to get 3 more points.
Hollebeck nets this one, and we are tied up at 12 apiece. The energy in Geisman has shifted back in favor of the Cougars. CUC Athletic Administration standing across the gym as the Cougars are near 3 points away from victory as that one into the net from Whitney. Cougars officially 2 points away from the victory now. Some substitutions coming in.
Yeah, that's just one of those mistakes by St. Norbert that you just cannot afford to make at this point in the match. You've had your opportunities to fumble with the ball earlier on, but right now you just can't mess that up.
The serve is in. The swing from Cornhouse kept alive. The swing now from Stella, rejected at the net by the Green Knights. A monster block from Applewhite, and Cornhouse ties this up at 13 apiece. And that's going to put Caden Cornhouse now to serve for the Green Knights, tied at 13 apiece. Hollaback, Ford, Stella. Here's Whitney, over to Cornhouse. Kept alive by Mosher. The back row set from Hoffman. Stella gets it over. Whitney now. Applewhite kept alive by Ford. Mosher over to Stella. Rejected at the net by Cornhouse and Applewhite. And the Green Knights are 1 point away from their first ever victory over CUC.
Advantage St. Norbert now. CUC can't afford to play on their heels anymore. They're going to have to keep playing that offensive style. Backs against the wall, though.
Cornhouse serving. Hollaback. Mosher. Ford. A monster keep alive there. Cornhouse diving into the bleachers to keep it alive. A free ball over. Mosher. Ford with the soft touch. They're going to call the Green Knights in the net. And the Cougars tie it up and stay alive.
Ford has had some struggles with serving. And they're going to try and ice him here. We'll see what they can do now.
A timeout from the Green Knights as we are all knotted up at 14 apiece. So while these two teams take a quick break, we're going to take one as well here on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the Cougar Sports Network, all tied up at 14 apiece in set number 5. Alexander Ford set to serve for the Cougars. Drops this one into the back row. Whitney over to Applewhite, sends that one straight down. And Barry Applewhite is fired up as he gets his team closer to victory.
I mean, you can definitely see there's no lack of emotions by any stretch. Both teams are going crazy at this point in the match. There will be another timeout.
A timeout from head coach of the Cougars, Greg Manos. A much-needed timeout as the Green Knights 1 point away from victory, but the Cougars 1 point away from keeping themselves alive here. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, a lot on the line here. The Green Knights hunting for their first win over the Cougars. The Cougars looking to keep their clean streak over the Green Knights, but a back-and-forth battle. We saw this throughout the entirety of the match. These two teams very well paired, and as we head to extra points in set number 5, it's no surprise to see it this close.
Definitely. I mean, at this point in the season as well, neither team can truly afford too many more losses in their schedule, so Concordia cannot afford to go down to 1-6 in conference, similar to St. Norbert can't go to 2-6. If St. Norbert can find a way to go to 3-5, that is a lot more salvageable, finding themselves an opportunity at making the playoffs, similar to Concordia Chicago. So we'll see what each team can do in these last few minutes.
Peck serving for the Green Knights for match points. Hoffman, Mosher, Stella with a soft touch, kept alive by Cornhouse. The swing, blocked at the net, but kept alive by the Green Knights. Cornhouse close to the net, tips it over, and that's going to go out of bounds and tie things up at 15 apiece.
And most importantly, Hollaback is back in the front row, right where you want him.
Absolutely, as Mosher set to serve for the Cougars. Drops this one off the hands of Knezevich, and the Cougars get a vital service ace to go up 16-15 here in set number 5. Mosher serving for match points. Knezovic, Whitney, off the hands of Hollowbeck is Kornhaus to secure that tying point for the Green Knights. And we are tied at 16 apiece.
I mean, what an absolute treat that we have been gifted today on this Saturday afternoon.
A very fun match to watch here as Gudzowski sends that one straight down right at the feet of Ryan Conway. Cougars up 17-16. And Cardenas now set to serve for match points.
Yeah, trying to send the fans home happy.
Energy in Geisman is electric as that one goes into the net to tie things up at 17 apiece. A fantastic back and forth battle between these two squads. Gato through his hands, kept alive by Cardenas. A free ball over. Whitney, Nelson with the straight shot. Cardenas calling off Gato, and another free ball from Hoffman. Whitney, Kornhaus with the swing, rejected at the net by the Cougars. A monster block from Hollowbeck and Gudzowski. Cougars once again 1 point away from victory.
As many men have stood in this similar spot, let's see if Gudzowski can send him home.
Leon Gudzowski looking to do the impossible here as that ball almost out of bounds, kept alive by Conway. The swing from Kornhaus. Mosher, Cardenas, Hollowbeck off the hands of the Green Knights, and the Cougars are going to secure the 5-set victory, 19-17. CUC has done it and kept their clean streak against the Green Knights.
What an absolute thriller.
A back and forth battle up until the end between these two teams. CUC struggled in set 4. The Green Knights seemingly had all the momentum on their side, and yet the Cougars coming back in set 5 and winning by a monster margin. These two teams both battling up until the final point. Extra points in set 5. Might as well have made it a 25-point victory the way that it felt inside Geisman Gymnasium, but a monster effort from both teams. The Cougars just able to pull ahead.
What a big-time win right there for the Cougs. Huge win in conference play right there on that St. Patty's Day here in River Forest. Beautiful, beautiful day overall.
Absolutely, but we will be having a post-game interview here on the Cougar Sports Network. But before we get to that, I just want to give a huge shout-out to everybody that made today's production possible. Operating the scoreboard today for us, Samantha Ferdinand. Operating cameras for us, Luciana Moran Cruz. Down at the scorer's table on PA is CUC Hall of Famer Jim Egan, doing scorebook for us, Danielle Burke. Libero tracking for us is the Assistant Director of Athletic Communications, Corey Welch. Inputting stats today is Abby Kulig. Spotting stats is Graduate Assistant Sydney Lloyd. Producing the live stream, flying solo today is Alan Mateo. Joining me on the broadcast here was Dave Daimling. Dave, thank you for joining me. And my pleasure to be on the call with you guys all day today. Kayla McLeod, Director of Athletic Communications here at CUC. Cougars win 3-2 in a thrilling fashion. But don't go anywhere, as we're going to have a post-game interview here on the Cougar Sports Network. here on the Cougar Sports Network. Caleb McLeod joined by graduate assistant of the men's volleyball team, Danny Coates. Coach, congratulations on a 5-set thrilling victory. It was an important, much-needed game for you guys. Obviously, struggling a little bit in this stretch. You guys were 1-5 in conference coming into this, so picking up another conference win is huge. What was it like coming into this game knowing that you guys needed to pull a conference win?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely felt like a game that we needed to win, and our guys played solid throughout. I mean, I thought we were as steady as can be throughout against a team that was very hot at times and then cooled off a little bit as well. So very happy with the way we performed, especially bounced back after a rough fourth set and taking them down in 5.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it, a little bit of a tough fourth set. I mean, this was a back-and-forth battle the majority of the day. That fourth set, the Green Knights really kind of sprung out and really stole some momentum. So how were you guys able to get the guys back into it to kind of resettle and regroup to be able to put up the battle that they did in the 5th set?
Yeah, I'd love to say it was something that we did, but honestly, it was all them. I mean, we were going over to talk to them about what they needed to do. We were all huddled up, talking to each other, keeping each other calm and ready to go point by point, and I mean, they executed, so it's all them.
And I mean, this team, you guys have a lot of young talent, and then you have your one graduate student in Tyler Hollaback who really stepped up today, and when you guys needed points, he was able to get it. But you also had a lot of guys step up in various ways. I mean, you had Leon Gazowski who was able to really put up a brick wall at the net throughout the day. What is it like to be able to have both that older side of the guys that are experienced and being able to contribute, but also knowing that your younger guys can step up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think having a lot of young talent on the team is always a great thing. We have basically unlimited room for growth, and I think today really showed it. We had 2 middles that came in. We're both hitting well over 300. We're holding it down in the middle as well on the defensive end of the ball. And just overall, just being able to stay tight throughout, and just I felt like we growed a lot just throughout the match even. So.
Absolutely. Well, CUC pulling the 5-set victory over the Green Knights, going for your 4th consecutive win over St. Norbert. So a big-time victory to help the Cougars push ahead in conference play. But that's all we've got here today. Coach, thank you for joining us on the post-game interview. Cougar fans, for all things CUC men's volleyball, for updates on their schedule, roster, and what's coming up next, be sure to head to cucougars.com. I'm Caleb McLeod. Thank you for joining me on the Cougar Sports Network, and as always, go Cougars!
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.